Shalom. First and foremost, want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word of sincerity and the truth. Okay, I'm going to go into this quick lesson, going into this article that says chivalry is so dead. Women forced to share seat at crowded bar after three men hog up the chairs for over an hour. And the woman that you see on the left is the woman who recorded, which is a TikTok video at the bottom. But she recorded some men. She recorded her and her, I guess her friend, sitting in the seat together, while other men were sitting in their own separate seats enjoying their meal at the bar. And she thinking or expecting the man to get up and give up his seat and his time, whatever if he's sitting with friends or whether he's sitting by himself, she expecting him to get up so they can be comfortable, and he just stands and be uncomfortable or go wherever he needs to go and be uncomfortable. But it just goes to show you the change in dynamics that's happening in the world. Because of course we know us in this truth, us men in this truth, we understand the true value in patriarchy, which I probably should look that. I'm probably gonna look that word up too. Which we know basically the men being the head of the family and the men being the head, the leadership. But this world through feminism is catered to the women, so it's ran under matriarchy, which the women are the head, and these women have really adapted that mindset that they are the prize, they are the ones to be won, when in fact that is completely false. So these women is just a result of that mindset. So I'm gonna read it. It says chivalry is dead. It's doing a lot of heavy lifting for what might just be a full bar. One woman took to TikTok in outrage after she and her friend had to squeeze into a single bar stool while three men occupied their own chairs nearby for over an hour. With dramatic audio demanding bans and justice, she panned to the allegedly seat-hogging men who inconveniently were just sitting there minding their business. The internet, however, wasn't exactly rallying behind her crusade for courtesy. Viewers were left wondering why strangers owe her anything at all, and how audacity takes a person very far in life. So first, I wanted to get the definition of entitled, because that's exactly what these women, of course it's Eve, so-called black woman, thinking that she's entitled to some type, thinking that she's entitled in general to receive some type of respect, or I'm not even gonna say respect, that's the wrong word to use, thinking that she's entitled to some type of, like someone's supposed to cater to her, because she's around. Somebody's supposed to cater to her. This is the definition of entitled. It said believing oneself to be inherently deserving of privileges or special treatment, and to entitle to give someone a legal right or a just claim to receive or do something. But I'm gonna go down here. It says, what does it mean to be an entitled person? It says an entitled person believes they deserve special privileges or treatment without having earned them, often expecting others to cater to their needs and getting upset when things don't go their way. This attitude manifests as a sense of being owed something, a disregard for rules, and a feeling of superiority, leading to demanding, self-centered, and sometimes rude behavior. This is exactly what these women have been raised to think, to be entitled to, and they've been taught that a man should cater to you. A man should do this for you. I remember, it wasn't even too long ago. It wasn't even that long ago. A couple months ago, I was talking to this woman, and I was already I already knew she liked me. She was interested, whatever the case may be, But what I wound up doing, because I've been knowing her for a little minute, so, and I've been watching her, so I wanted to test and see. I tested her. I said, I've been seeing you around this, that, and the third, and we were chopping it up, talking, and so I can't remember exactly how I got on it, but I told her that she can give me her number, and she said her dad told her that a man should ask for her number, and I'm thinking to myself, I can't remember exactly how I said it, but somehow, some way, I said it to where she said a man should ask her for her number. Her dad told her a man should ask for her number, and I was like, "You can give it to me." Yeah, that's what I was saying. You can give me your number. And she was saying that I needed to ask for her number, and I'm thinking to myself, you expect me to turn around and because what basically the whole dynamic of what was going on was she viewing herself far above where she really actually is, or far above what she actually was. She's thinking that she's more than what she really is, and trying to adapt that modern mindset of feminism and thinking that you the prize. No, it don't work that way. Long story short, I don't have a number because I wasn't finna do that. Wasn't finna even go down that road, So these women think that, because like I said, that feeling of superiority, that's really what it is. They think that they're on a higher level than you, when that's not the order that the Lord set up. Let me get that real quick. Is that Titus? No, I'm slacking. It's in Timothy. Let me see. Slovakia. Okay, it's Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 11, that's right. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 11, starting at verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Yahweh Shai, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Yahweh Shai is the Most High. The order goes from the Heavenly Father first, Yahweh Shai second, the man third, and then the woman fourth. And then the children is, after the woman. That's the order. So women having a mindset of superiority or entitlement, that's completely out of order. Thinking that someone owes you something. That's what Esau taught you to believe. And women are learning the hard way because men are now they're waking up and becoming aware these women are not wife material. So why should they get wife treatment? Because that's really what it is. They want wife treatment, but they're not wife material. And this, just I guess a disclaimer, if the shoe fit, you certainly gonna wear it. But if the shoe doesn't fit, there's no need for you to be offended. But women know, when that shoe fit. They know when, because they gonna feel it. They gonna feel convicted. So anyway, going back to it. Is chivalry dead? Bree Taylor definitely seems to think so. The topic holds a heated debate, and her comment section has the dial turned up to 10. So far, Bree Clip has 264,000 views and over 600 comments. Her caption refers to the death of chivalry. Her text overlays 3 men sitting at the bar for an hour as we share a seat to eat dinner. She films herself and her friend on the same stool and then pans the camera over to the men she seems to be referencing. They seem to be unaware of being filmed. Bree chose the viral audio of Kendall Toll saying, "Get them banned. We do not do that here. Oh, now I'm pissed. Find out what that is. Get them banned." So I'm going to jump down. No? Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to jump down. It says, recently the Mary Sue covered a viral TikTok where a woman posted a picture of her and her boyfriend, whom she met on Hinge, In the post, she claims that he didn't pay for their first date, but she was glad she still gave him a chance. See, you see that she's still glad she gave him a chance. But in the times to come, especially for the men, because it's all about the men. The main thing is about the men. Well, it's about Yahweh Shai. But for women, it's about the men. It's about the man of the Lord for women. This is Isaiah 13:12. It says, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. And that man is talking about as a man of the Lord, because the men of the Lord are Lord will, I'm not that number, the men of the Lord get overlooked in this kingdom, for the most part. They get overlooked. They're not held in that high authority, or they're not held with the respect that they really deserve. And Yahweh Shai is gonna come and put change. Well, before Yahweh Shai come, all of this is gonna be showcased during the time of Jacob's trouble. But it's gonna be even greater when Yahweh Shai returns. But this is going into the time of Jacob's trouble, And as Elder Apostle Gabar he said before in the past, we have the power, We have the power because we got the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh Ba'ashem Shai. The Spirit of the Lord is with us. We have the power. It's just the situation has to be created and dire so that it can be manifested. It can truly be manifested and take it to the next level. But like I said, a man is going to be made more precious than fine gold. And that man is a man of the Lord. And in the AMP, it says, I will make mortal man more rare than fine gold, and mankind scarcer than the pure gold of Ophir, which mortal man is still going into the men of the Lord, because we are mortals right now, We haven't reached God status yet, but that's coming. And when it says scarcer, that means it's going because women already outnumber men. And that's in the natural sense. Now later on, Jacob's trouble, famine, the violence, increasing crime, people dying in World War III, men going overseas, dying, or going to the war, dying. Now the male population is decreased even more. On top of the men of the Lord already being rare and fewer in number. So the value of a man of the Lord is going to skyrocket. Because again, like I said, the men of the Lord right now are being overlooked, and that's all right. It's okay, Lord will again know that number. The Lord is going to lift up his men. This is Isaiah 32:1 and 2. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. And a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. This is how the men of the Lord are going to be for those that's under him, primarily women, And of course, it's family too. He have a family, he have children. Of course, this too, but especially for women. This is how the men of the Lord are going to be. All right. True believers will be naked, but not ashamed. Going back into the beginning, going back into Genesis chapter 1. Because it's like in Genesis chapter 2. Because what was going on? After the Lord had created, he said he established Adam to be the head of creation, be the head of the kingdom, to guide the earth in righteousness, rule the kingdom. And he had Eve. What did the Lord? He gave Adam. He breathed into him the breath of life. That's symbolic for he gave Adam the law, statutes, and commandments on how to run the earth, how to manage the earth properly. And Adam taught Eve. So they were ruling the earth in the way that the Lord told them to do it. They had not sinned yet. So that's what it's going into. They had not went off yet. But Eve was covered under Adam, you know. In the same way with these, when Eve went off and followed the serpent, she left that covering. But then, you know, Adam followed after his wife, so he left the covering of the Heavenly Father, you know. But when she went off, she left under Adam's covering, you know. So, like here, verse 2 again. And a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. So that's a man being the covering for all those that's under him. In the AMP, it says each one of them, the men of the Lord, will be like a hiding place from the wind and a shelter from the storm, like streams of water in a dry land, like the shade of a huge rock in a parched and weary land to those who turn to them. So this is how the men of the Lord are going to be. So why is it that women have a sense of superiority when the men of the Lord is going to be your covering? You know, a man in general, even right now, is a woman's form of, well, it's supposed to be a woman's form of protection. Of course, they got 911 right now, but when those services go out, guess what? Women, they're going to want a man to protect them. And still, even in cases now, especially if something come in the spare of the moment, they want a man to protect them. So going back to the article, it says, in the post, she claims that he didn't pay for their first date, but she was glad she still gave him a chance. The viewers, however, kept thanking her for keeping him off the streets. Now, let's watch this real quick. And this is fair use, fair use, fair use. I'm not using your content to make money. This is strictly for educational purposes, bringing out biblical truths. Fair use, fair use. And I'm not even going to play the audio. So that should, you know. And play it again. And you can see it says 3 men sitting at the bar for an hour as we sharing a seat to eat dinner. I'm gonna play it one more time and peep how Eve dressed. Peep the energy, you know, the cleavage out on both of them, breast out and all. But they want to be treated a certain way. They want to be treated, you know, on that level. A man would do this for his wife, you know. But these women, you're not even dressing like a wife, like wife material, like somebody would even want to get up and give you their seat when they enjoying themselves. So, you know, of course, it go into some of the comments. It says the comment section is quite heated. Most viewers give it to Bree cut and dry. One viewer calls it the princess pandemic, which these women, they want to be treated like princesses, but they don't act like that. Again, you know, a wife, princess, all this, you know, it's synonymous, you know, because a wife, you know, princess, you women are daughters of Yahweh Bashim Abashah and princesses. And for the men, they'll be kings and priests, you know. Also, the name Yasharallah goes into prince of the power. So a son of God, you know. And for, like I said, for the women, you will be a princess. But these women want to be treated like a princess and don't embody anything that a princess would embody. And let's get that definition. Let's get the definition of the word princess. It says a princess is typically the daughter of a king or queen or the wife of a prince, representing a female member of a royal family, usually of high noble status. And the way they dress is not noble. The way they act is not noble. The term stems from the Latin princeps, first chief, and denotes royalty, power, and privilege. It also refers to a female ruler of a principality. Now it says royal, a non-reigning female member of a royal family or a queen female sovereign. Marriage, the consort wife of a prince. So like, that's why I said a princess is also synonymous with wife. You know, it goes into that as well. The daughter of a monarch. It says the wife or widow of a prince. You know, so on and so forth. Because they use the princess pandemic as well. So they said derogatory as spoiled or arrogant young woman. And that's exactly what that woman was, spoiled and arrogant. You know, I never even looked that up and didn't know that it was used in that sense. You can even use what they say on Urban Dictionary. A girl who is sweet, kind, goofy, intelligent, beautiful, and an amazing friend to have. You know, these women, their personality doesn't give off any of those qualities. Now it says another simply says, "Girl, I'm a feminist, almost misandrist, and I still don't think they need to give up their bar seat." Another echo, "Don't make me agree with men. They were only there for an hour, not 4. Maybe they aren't done." Another straightforward viewer says, "It was this night she realized the world doesn't revolve around her." And it's a lot of women finna realize the world never revolves around them. Their world, a woman world, revolves around the man. Because we just read the order. The head of the woman is the man. Your world revolves around that man, just like with us, men, our world revolves around Yahweh Shai. You know, we follow and we serve Yahweh Shai. We have no problem being called a servant of Yahweh Shai. But women have a problem being called a servant of a man or serving a man. There's nothing wrong with the word serve or servant. You know, there's nothing demeaning about it. You know, Yahweh Shai world revolves around the Heavenly Father. That's the order. That's how the Lord set it up. So again, these women doesn't realize this, but the Lord is finna make the whole earth get back in, where He's making the whole earth get back in order, and He's finna make these women realize that this whole time, this whole grace period, you had to get yourself together. You loathed the law of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. And now when it's time now when judgment just start going forth and they realize that they need the man of the Lord, the ball is going to be in the men of the Lord court. Men of the Lord is going to have the options. And things and videos like this, or we don't even need to see videos. You know, the Spirit of the Lord is going to be on us. And we're going to be able to choose and determine who, you know, who can come under the protection the Lord has given us, and who can't. The umbrella of, you know, our umbrella. I say it like that, you know, because we're going to be under the umbrella of us men. We're going to be under the umbrella of Yahweh Shai. Lord will know that number. We're going to be under the umbrella of Yahweh Shai. So we're going to see in that time, that's when the women going to find out who going to be under their umbrella. It's going to be a lot of women that get rejected. Women like this will be rejected with this mindset. It says, so you failed to make reservations and that somehow became their problem. Wonders another. Another viewer shares, look like they're eating and enjoying their time. Why would they give up seats for random women? Some try to get more context. If they are just drinking, they just grab the drink and move around. But if they are eating, I would stay seated. Says one viewer. Bree replies, they weren't eating. Their plates were the same when we got there. One man comments, if you're not my woman, I'm not giving her my seat. Where better. As a stranger, I owe you nothing. And I'm guessing when they say where better, they talking about how they were dressed. Because why would a man want to give up a woman? I mean, why would a man want to give up his seat or give up, you know, because what this world calls ship? Well, and then let me look that word up, which I know what it is, but just going into making a point. Now, this is chivalry. The medieval knightly system with its religious, moral, and social code. Knights, noblemen, and horsemen collectively. It says the combination of qualities expected of an ideal knight, especially courage, honor, courtesy, justice, and a readiness to help the weak. And then it says courtesy, behavior, especially that of a man toward a woman. Right. Now let's see what else. Chivalry means a code of honorable conduct originated from medieval knights, emphasizing bravery, loyalty, courtesy, and honor, often expressed today as polite, kind, and respectful behavior, especially from men toward women, though its meaning has evolved to include protecting the vulnerable and treating everyone with respect. And that's fine, polite, kind, and respectful behavior, especially for men toward women. There's nothing wrong with that. But where's the reciprocation? There is none. There is no reciprocation. You know how they would reciprocate to a man? If a man would giving up his seat, you know how they would reciprocate? More than likely, they may or may not have said thank you. That's reciprocation. Not returning polite, kind, respectful behavior, especially for women toward men. It won't be reciprocated because these women are entitled and they think that they're superior. They feel like a man should do whatever. If they see them in some type of distress or uncomfortability, any man is supposed to come to their rescue with little or no reciprocation, or courtesy or respect. But all of that's going to change. The Lord is literally actively changing all of that as we speak, So to finish it out, it says, and only a few defended Bree. One viewer says, "Oh, these comments scaring me. I'm scared." While another says, "Girl, ignore the comments. I understand." Bree responds, "They're so mean. Thank you." So this is just a small example of how these women really feel and what they think. If a man, and you can be minding your business. You can literally be minding your own business, not even paying no attention to what they think or what they going on. You'll be, the next thing you know, you on social media getting recorded because they uncomfortable. And they ain't got nothing to do with you. Because they wanted to sit at the bar. But hey, it is what it is. So on that note, I'm going to close out. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of GMS that rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to all the brothers out there pushing this word of sincerity and the truth. Shalom to the brothers, sisters, and children out there keeping this word of sincerity and the truth. Until next time, shalom.